On days when my problems and thoughts cannot stop swirling through my head, I run. I fall into the deep rhythm of my footsteps and everything seems to fade away. You see, the amazing part about running is you can accomplish the impossible. All you need is a determined mindset and a good pair of running shoes. Now I know it's not that simple. Trust me, I have been there. Summer going into my sophomore year, I decided to first try out running. Started feeling good, I was fast, I was strong, I was on fire. Until really only my lungs were on fire and I could hardly breathe. My first day, I couldn't run for more than 5 minutes. But the crazy thing is, that didn't matter to me. I kept running all summer. My body felt awful, but my mind was clear. I felt better than I ever had. I finally ran my first 5K, and that day I found clarity. I decided I wanted running to consume the only consistency I would have in my life, and I vowed to never stop. So I kept going, and made it all the way to my senior year with great success. I qualified for the Nike Portland cross country race, and I was beyond excited. We traveled to the meet, and I was in an underlying wreck. I was nervous out of my mind, rain was drenching the course, and I was almost certain that my heart was beating out of my chest. Until I remembered why I was there. I remembered that I love to run. The gun shot and the race was off. I pushed myself harder than I ever thought possible, flying into the final stretch. Sweat dripped down my eyes as I drove myself across the finish line.
Let's go, Amber!
Right on.
Nice job, Amber.
Yeah, Amber! Yeah!
I burst into cheers of joy, seeing that I was only a few seconds behind first place. I had accomplished what for me never really seemed possible. I had just gotten second place. But my cheers of joy that day did not come from my place. Rather, it came from the unlimited amounts of support and love that I felt that day. Running became a dream for me. It was consistent, unlike my family situation. My parents got divorced before I could even really remember, and my mom was hardly ever around. She spent most of her time drinking away, and my dad was rarely involved. I realized the love I had for running came from the unconditional love I received from it. Because the ground doesn't care what I've been through. It doesn't mind if I've made mistakes or done wrong. I can still run if I cried the day before or had the best day ever. When I lost my parents, lost a friend, and lost motivation, the road and the trails were still there for me when I was ready. A lot of things have not gone the way I wanted in the past 3 years, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I've learned so much about myself with the help of running because I'm free when I hit the trails. None of my negative thoughts could weigh me down. I could process my feelings and let out all my emotions. And there were times in my life when I did not do this. I tried to be the good girl, not wanting to offend people with whatever I said or did. But now I want to offend people. Well, maybe not that exactly, but I want people to care enough about my thoughts and opinions that it affects them. And when people don't care, when people think I'm uneducated or gullible, I'll still run. I'll let out my frustrations to the trails. Whether I hate the man who assumes the presidency, stick by my strict morals, and have my high values, the trails will sit still and be there for me, no matter who I am or what I believe. And that's an internal battle I face. I've had to become confident in relying on myself before others. It seems silly to me to think that I used to define myself based on the standards provided by other people. Looking in the mirror thinking what could be better about myself rather than thinking what was so great. I couldn't see how amazing it was that I made it through the nights when my whole world fell in. I survived over and over again. And instead of my loving myself for it, I was tearing myself down. I helped me realize that I got lost this year. I became aware that I was going the wrong way. I was letting my story define me. I was judging myself for what I've been through, what I believed in, what I look like. But I don't want my story to define my message. I want my message to define my story. The road does not care if I'm male or female. The trail doesn't mind if I'm conservative or liberal. The dirt will still be there whether I want it to or not. And that's the power of running.
When I wanted to give up.
When my grandma died. When my grandma was in the hospital having a heart attack.
I got put in the hospital with spinal meningitis and encephalitis. I was in a coma for 4 days.
Even when days were hard. Even when I felt all alone.
A year after the exact day that I had last seen or talked to my mom.
When I got a really bad migraine before one of my races.
While I've watched my grandpa struggle with and fight Parkinson's disease over the last decade,
I went to a really low place this year mentally.
2 years ago, my grandma passed away.
When I was stressed and overwhelmed.
I've kept running.
I still ran. I still ran.
I'm still run. When I wanted to.
I ran.
I still ran. I still ran.
I still ran.
I still ran.
I still ran.
The first thing that they cleared me to do physical activity was I went for a run.
Out of the mental state I was in, I always knew the emotion.
But I was careless, and you were broken. You were ready, but I'm unspoken. You're amazing, and you shine a light.
It's the most authentic experience you can get. Anyone can run and make a difference in their life. Figure things out with no interruption. It's an opportunity to stay sane, and all you have to do is step outside and make the choice to start. Whether that's today or in 5 years, the ground will be there waiting for you, whoever you are. So when days were hard, when my mom told me she couldn't care for me anymore, when my dad left me home alone for days, and when I packed up all my belongings and moved in with a new family, I ran. And I still run. And some days are hard, really hard. But I have a lot of people to support me along the way. And if there's one thing I've learned, it is that I can do the hard things in life.